Backler P3, then it's Nicky Tim, Alex Riberas, Earl Bamber, Connor De Filippi, Christian Engelhardt. Then we see Robert Lucas, Sean Johnston, Muller, Schmidt, Schotters, Tuna, Kentonish, Klein, and Tiburi. Then it's Habits, Lucas Shearer, Michelle Gatting, Lady Racer. Then it's Gerhard and Burkham. And the rest of the grid up there on the screen for you, as is the case with Porsche Carrera Cup. 2 categories, A category and B category. Only 6 or 7 drivers in the B category. It's mostly made up of A's, and with such a huge grid of cars, we can expect it to be very, very exciting indeed. The track layout then of this 4.5 kilometre Hockenheim circuit. 14 laps, 64 kilometres of hot rocking Porsche fun to come, Chris.
Absolutely right. Now using the 7th generation of the 911 GT3, the GT3 Cup car, 37 drivers on the grid. And Philipp Eng, the Austrian, on pole position, 5th in the championship last year. Kevin Estre was the champion of 2013. He's not back, but Christian Engelhardt, who was 2nd last year, Nicky Tim, who was 3rd in the championship, and Philipp Eng, who was 5th in the championship, are all back. Nicky Tim, further down than he might be, though, Dave, in 10th place on the grid, but he's not at full fitness this weekend.
No, he was racing last weekend in the ADAC GT Masters and had an horrific rollover right on the start-finish straight at the beginning of race 2 at Oschersleben last weekend, and did injure himself in an area which he would choose not to injure himself, if I can make it that way. But we spoke to him yesterday, and apart from a little bit of soreness, he's back to fighting fit, but perhaps not as fit as we would expect him to be. But even so, qualifying in P4, I think Nicky Tim has made clear his intentions for the race.
That's right, yeah. So Philipp Eng with a 1:42.039 was 2 tenths quicker than Alex Riberas, who's returning to the championship as well. The Spaniard Sven Muller. Then 3rd, and Connor De Filippi, the American driver, is going to be on the outside of the 2nd row of the grid. Fabian Tuna, Swiss driver, returning as well. 5th, and then Christian Engelhardt, who was a 3-time race winner last year. 1 race win at Hockenheim here at the end of the season. Completes the top 6.
Christian Engelhardt, another one that was racing last weekend as well. So, Porsche Carrera Cup then. Nicky Tim that we mentioned, well, he battled all season long with his...
galoppieren über die Start- und Zielgerade. Rund 18.000 PS die eigene
driver. And the yellow Porsche through in third position. Everybody else filters through just behind them as well. Zöchling with a good start as well in the mix as they come through into the stadium section now, through towards that left-hander at Sachskurve, the 13th of 16 turns on this very busy Hockenheim circuit.
Team 75 Bernhard are running Earl Bamber, who the New Zealand driver is tipped for success in this, as away goes Pieter Schotthurst in the McGregor by Attempto car. That Schotthurst stuck out there in the gravel. We'll get a replay of how that happened. Here it comes right now. And
I wonder if he got a little tap there, as he just lost the back end. Hard to tell from that angle, wasn't it? But
yeah, did he get a touch from, and that would have been his teammate Juno, wouldn't it?
Not sure, I couldn't tell from that angle. A bit odd otherwise, wasn't it? Just a strange way to go off. Back end snapped away very quickly indeed. So Schotthurst, that might... No, that's another incident. This is Ola Nilsson there with damage, you could say, to the back end of the car. There's not much left of it, is there,
no,
in terms of bodywork? Flailing away for him.
Well,
and suddenly the pits are busy. Antti Berry there, the British Formula 4 champion of a couple of years ago, is in the 99 car and in too.
Robert
Renauer, yeah, who had a bit of a disappointing qualifying session as well. And Philipp Enge was 1.6 seconds clear at the end of the first lap from Nicky Tim, who in turn was nearly 1.5 seconds clear of Jim Pla. So the top three fairly well spread out. And then from New Zealand, Earl Bamber, the one that came through in fourth, Zöchling in fifth, and completing the top six, the American Connor De Filippi in the number 9 car.
So Enge, Tim, Pla, and then Pla under pressure now from Bamber, though Bamber himself with Zöchling right behind him, and a spinner there, and that spinner is the lady racer Michelle Gatting. Michelle just carrying too much speed. We could see that from there, couldn't we? He's never going to be able to make that.
Into the Mercedes curve. Bits of bodywork being recovered, a rear wing, in fact.
No, that's an Attempto rear wing.
Being recovered. They'll want it back. But it's off the track. Well done, Marshalls. So the gap came down slightly on that lap. Nicky Tim got a 10th back from the race leader. And look at this queue then forming up for third and beyond. Earl Bamber there, who raced in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia Championship and won that title last year. Makes the step up to the German Porsche Carrera Cup, and he's on the tail now of Jim Pla as they go through Parabolica. He's going to have a go, Dave, down into the hairpin.
So can Earl Bamber do it then? We said right at the beginning that a man of talent, no question about that. So coming under a bit of attack himself, isn't he?
Yeah, trouble is there's a big long queue behind him,
yes.
And if you make a move, it's got to be decisive, because if it doesn't work and you run a little bit wide on the way out of the corner, 2 or 3 other Porsches will come past you.
So then they're queuing up behind Pla, as you rightly said. So Zöchling there in the Conrad Motorsport car. Christian Engelhardt is not that far behind down there in P7.
Still trying to find a way past Pla, but defend at the same time, because there's Zöchling trying to squeeze it up the inside here over the curbs, and just trying to put the pressure on here at this stage of the lap. Through they come. 3rd, 4th, 5th altogether. Slight gap, then 6th, 7th and 8th are in the mix as well as they come through to start a new lap. Jim Pla better not look in the mirrors here, because he'll be scared to death. All these Porsches breathing down his neck. Doing a good job there, though, in third place, isn't he?
Yes, he's not bowing to the pressure, is he? He's not made mistakes. So Jim Pla then, as we get a replay of the start here, thumbs up from Philipp Enge there.
That was calm.
I'm okay. Really sideways, Jim Pla, and that's what cost him the time at the start. He just got that car almost into a drift, didn't he, from the off. Now you can see the back end just step away from that Pla car. It bogged down. Nicky Tim able to take advantage of that, and also block out Zöchling at the same time.
Yeah, very good start. Very clean start from Nicky Tim, wasn't it? And that was Zöchling going very, very wide out the way of the corner, because there was nowhere to go up the inside, because Nicky Tim had planted his car there.
Pla has been passed, and it's a Bamber that has got through. Zöchling's got through, and they're coming through like a train now, aren't they? My goodness me. Also through goes Connor De Filippi. And
not quite.
No.
Didn't quite make it through. Looked like for all the world he would, didn't it?
Yes, but, well, fair play to Pla for fighting back.
And then in the other Attempto car, Alex Riberas is in the mix as well. He's having a look at the inside there as they go to the left-hander. I think it's just a bit too far back. So this is where Pla, I suspect, lost all the places down into the hairpin. Oh, that was super late. Big lock up there to get through from Bamber. That was a determined move.
Yes.
I think he felt like he was being held up a bit and he was keen to get on with it. That was just about on the limits, wasn't it, Dave?
It made that gap Porsche wide, didn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't Porsche wide to start with,
No,
but it was by the end of the corner.
So Enger leads from Tim, from Bamber, Zöchling, then it's Pla, De Filippi, Christian Engelhardt and Alex Riberas, then the top 8. We're on lap 4 of 14 here at Hockenheim for the opener for the Porsche Carrera Cup. And, well, Jim Pla is hanging on there, isn't he? And, well, quite rightly, why should he...
There goes to Filippi. He's done it, but he's run wide.
Yeah, and that's where you've just got to nail that corner so very right. Look at those cars absolutely side by side now, and
off they go to Mercedes, and Pla still hanging on, still trying to hang on around the outside. There is the American. Now he knows he's got the inside line, and De Filippi will go through, but Pla might now come under attack as well. From another couple of cars here, we're breathing down his neck. Christian Engelhardt in the mix as well.
Riberas is just waiting for the whole lot to collapse, isn't he? And he's going to take advantage of it all. Here comes Alex Riberas in the all-blue machine. Is at the back of that pack that we're watching at the moment, but he's waiting to pounce. And, wow, fair play to Jim Pla. He really is pushing, isn't he? And he's not making it, and why should he make it easy for anybody? But very exciting to watch at the moment.
Yep, and you say you've got Christian Engelhardt and Alex Riberas both desperately trying to push through, and then the next group is starting to catch them as well because they've started fighting. So Sean Johnson, another American driver, the green and white car in 9th place, catching up, and in 10th place Sven Muller in the yellow and red Porsche. They're not too far behind. Here's a replay. Most of the replays have involved Jim Pla so far, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
That was very good on the brakes, though, from the American into the hairpin. He almost pulled it off Connor De Filippi at that stage. He ran wide and thought had run too wide, but then he still kept his foot buried as they ran up towards Mercedes. And there you can see Christian Engelhardt had the better run out at the corner, but there was nowhere to go because those two Porsches just blocked the route.
They were welded together, weren't they? See it again. And that's where they got absolutely right together.
That was determined driving from De Filippi. It took him 3 corners to get through, but he wasn't going to give it in, was he?
No. Stuck with it. And, well, there is, once again, a stack behind Jim Pla now, including Christian Engelhardt and Riberas and Johnston, Muller as well.
And there's the battle for third. Zöchling was a 10th quicker on that lap than number 20, the black and white Porsche of the New Zealander Earl Bamber. So they go through. Then this gap back to the new 5th place car of De Filippi. Pla in 6th, Engelhardt 7th. Riberas just at the back of them in 8th place. And then you see what I mean about the next group coming through. Another 4 Porsches catching them all up.
And whilst all this is going on, Enger has got a 2.5 second advantage at the front over Nicky Tim.
Pla sliding there, the back end of the car. He's losing a bit of traction, and Engelhardt is quicker through the apex, but I think he's having to get off the throttle almost to avoid running into the Frenchman. He's having a go now, though, as they go over the start-finish line. Here is Christian Engelhardt trying to go right round the outside. He does it, takes all of the track and then some, but through he goes.
Riberas as well. They're queuing up now, aren't they? Riberas has managed to go through.
Sean Johnson, he's all over the place,
that
isn't he?
That car is the back end steps out very easily, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's not going to have many tyres left by the end of this race.
So Sean Johnston having a go now. none of them have been able to execute it easily, have they? I mean, he's into the hairpin now.
Riberas with the move at the inside of Engelhardt. Look at that on the brakes from the green and yellow Sean Johnson machine.
That was, wow.
Synchronised overtaking that, wasn't it? But they all made it through cleanly. Here's a replay. So that's the earlier incident between Pla and Engelhardt. That move, great move that, wasn't it?
Yep. And Riberas just able to take advantage as well. And this was Riberas and Engelhardt, and that daredevil move there from Sean Johnston.
Yeah, I think it was caused, but Engelhardt had to go so wide to get the move on Pla at the start of the lap through the first corner. And just behind them, even though he's a couple of car lengths back, then Riberas had just got the better run, and it paid dividends by the time they got to the hairpin. So one forward and one back for Christian Engelhardt at the moment, as we look at Sven Muller, number 14, being chased by Clemens Schmidt in the Conrad Motorsport car, and these two are 10th and 11th.
So about half distance then in this, the first Carrera Cup race of the season, with Engel leading a 2.3 second advantage over the recovering Nicky Tim, recovering not from any problems in the race so far today, but recovering from a race crash last weekend. Earl Bamber P3, Zoetzling P4, De Filippi 5, Riberas 6th.
Yeah, Earl Bamber's flying in third place. He's just done his personal best first sector, and on the previous lap he was half a second quicker than the man ahead. And more action here down at the hairpin. Sven Muller coming under fire in the yellow and red Porsche. Just ahead of them, Jim Pla. Sort of bottlenecking everybody up at the moment in this race, isn't he, Jim Pla? Clemens Schmidt couldn't quite get through, couldn't quite get the advantage. Jeffrey Schmidt is in the mix as well in 12th place. And then Robert Lucas, who went pretty well in last year's championship, is at the tail end of that group in 13th.
So there is Alex Riberas with Engelhardt all over the back of that car at the moment. Battle here between the Attempto team and the Conrad Motorsport team going on for P6. There on screen you can see the difference in the last 3 laps. So Riberas really pushing that car hard. So too Christian Engelhardt. Saw some brilliant driving from Christian Engelhardt in Porsche Carrera Cup last season, and so too from Alex Riberas. Riberas very much considered to be a talent on the up, and showing well in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany here at Hockenheim. Jim Pla then with that queue of 4 cars behind him. Robert Lucas right on the back of that pack in car number 10. He's down there in P13 at the moment. Robert Lucas, another one of the competitors from the Porsche Carrera Cup from last season. So as they head up towards the hairpin, this big grid of cars has spread out quite significantly now.
Riberas ran pretty wide through the hairpin. He had a bit of a lock-up, and Engelhardt's going to come back onto him through Mercedes, the right-hander, coming into the Sachs curve. Those two will be very close together once again. Somebody else carrying a bit too much speed here, off through the gravel.
Yes.
Mike Halder, number 30.
Down there in 24th place at the moment.
Not too good for the tyres, but otherwise I think the car survived that one. And he may not have even lost a place. There's Nicky Tim in second position. Still keeping his foot in here.
Yep.
And kept the gap to 2.5 seconds to Philippe Enger. He's keeping up as much pressure as he can. Bamber in third place is a further 2.1 seconds back. Zoetzling just dropping away now from Bamber in fourth by 1.5 seconds.
Nicky Tim, of course, change of team for this year. Has decided to go with the Lechner Motorsport team. He was with the Attempto Racing team last year. And, well, caused the Attempto boss several fraught moments on the pit perch as he battled his way with Kevin Estra. that has gone with a different team for this season. So Jim Pla then still on the back there of
and Engelhardt trying to switch back up the inside here to get ahead of Riberas. This is a good move. He sold him a dummy there. And Engelhardt goes through into 6th place. Runs a bit wide on the exit, but he survives. Meanwhile, Jim Pla is in the mix as well, once again. Battling away with Muller, who's got through at the hairpin. So Muller makes the move. But, yeah, it has been coming for a lap, that. Christian Engelhardt has been the quicker of the two. Riberas, in his second season of Carrera Cup racing, eventually has to relent. Down to 6th place he goes. And look at Sean Johnson in the yellow and green car. He's left that group behind.
Yes,
He's almost with these two now in this battle for 6th, 7th positions.
So there a replay then of Engelhardt going through. And did that really, really well. So Christian Engelhardt ahead of Riberas as once again the big stack up behind Jim Pla continues to try and jostle and find a way past the seemingly ever-widening Jim Pla Porsche that's there.
Yeah, I don't think Jim Pla's exactly been looking after the rubber, has he, on the tyres? He's really
towards
had
the
that
end of
back
the
end
race. He might
out.
really struggle still further. We've already seen the, as you say, the back end flying around. Doing jolly well to control it, really, isn't he?
Clemens Schmidt was flashing his lights there. Get out of the way, he's saying to Jim Pla. Of course, he's not going to. Why should he? He's not a back marker.
No, Ammer Muller, we saw in picture there.
And there you go. Pla does lose the place to Schmidt in the end. He has to concede. So another one lost, and off has gone Ralph Bon. And why did this happen? Was he helped, or did he do it all by himself? Well, right behind him was Wolf Nathan, and there is the answer to the question. There was contact.
So Wolf Nathan, another one of those drivers that was racing in GTs last weekend, assisted Bon in that move, didn't he? Somewhat.
Jim Pla running wide now, and he's going to lose 2 more places. I'm not surprised. This actually, although he's had all these moments with the back end of the car, it's the first time he's really run wide, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
But those tyres are definitely struggling now. Pla sinking back ever more into the pack, into the midfield.
So 4 laps left to run of this Porsche Carrera Cup race, being led by Enger, who has 2.7 second advantage over the second place driver Nicky Thiem. Then it's Earl Bamber in P3, Sochling P4, De Filippi P5, and Christian Engelhardt P6. We're watching Rolf Inischen there, who took the B Championship last year. And down there, P20 at the moment, Rolf Inischen in the race overall. Another one of the Conrad Motorsport drivers. Three laps left to run. And Enger increases his lead by a couple of tenths over Nicky Thiem, as Inischen continues to push hard to try and find his way past Christopher Gerhard. And, well, not for the first time in this race, our cameras focus on Jim Pla out there.
And there's Sean Johnson in the foreground, still working away to try and catch the blue Porsche of Alex Riberas for 7th position. Here's Pla, under attack once again, not by 1 but by 2, as coming past to Michael Ammermuller, and also making the move was Fabian Thune there, the Swiss driver. They both come through, and he's just not got the tyres, I don't think, to slow down the car enough under braking now, as it's just having to brake a bit earlier than he would like.
Marco Klein is
smoking the tyres again.
Lock up as Marco Klein is right behind him now. So Jim Pla, with his aggression from earlier in the race, has really paid the price in terms of his tyres going away. And we just saw in the background of the picture there, Marco Klein seeming to get past him as well, or maybe not, as Klein now runs wide. So, yeah, fair play to Jim Pla, with arguably, he was jolly nearly running on the rims now, and it's P13.
There is Nicky Tim. I was about to say Bamba is not far behind, is he? So second and third, certainly.
7/10 now.
Yeah, that's the smallest gap we've seen since the start of the race between these two. So a couple of laps to go. Nicky Tim under pressure. Bamba not satisfied with the podium. Wants to get one better. Wants to get second place away from the Dane who went so very well in last year's championship. There's the race leader in the foreground, Philippe Enger. Looking very, very smooth. It's 3.2 seconds up the road from this battle for second place. Zöckling on his own in fourth. And then in fifth place, still having to work hard, is De Filippi, because Christian Engelhardt behind him has been flying for the last couple of laps.
Yes.
More action further back. One or two locking up. So easy to lock up, isn't it, on the way into that hairpin.
And despite all his efforts, he's still not been able to get past Jim Ply yet. Who are we talking about? Marco Klein in car number 16, who is currently P16. As we see Nicky Tim and Earl Bamber. And this is going to be a battle to the flag, isn't it? We're running out of time for Earl Bamber. And Nicky Tim, of course, supremely experienced racing driver. Ain't going to be easy to get past.
No. Sort of DTM legend Kurt Tim is, I wonder if he's maybe struggling a bit, because as we said at the start of the race, he had this big crash last week in GTs, and was still feeling a bit sore and stiff. He said he'd been having physio 2 times a day since then, so he was pleased just to be in the car. Lights flashing for Earl Bamber. Come on, mate, out of the way, he says to Nicky Tim.
Yeah.
Just trying to intimidate him, but Nicky's not going to be intimidated by that sort of thing, is he?
I wouldn't have said so. No, I think you're absolutely right. So we're on to the final lap then, and, well, I wonder if we're going to see a daredevil move from Earl Bamber on Nicky Tim to try and do everything he can to elevate himself from P3 to P2. This, our race leader, Philippe Enger, then, who, after the first couple of laps, hasn't really been troubled. Here comes Bamber then at the hairpin. He's going to try and push Nicky Tim into making a mistake. Absolutely convinced that's going to happen, to be honest with you, but Tim is certainly, he's under a bit of pressure here, isn't he?
Yeah, Bamber gets good run coming out of the hairpin. It's just there's not too many places to find a way through in the second half of the lap, are there? So you might be quicker at the moment, but Nicky Tim will know he's just got to keep the car planted on the race line, and whatever Earl Bamber does, he's not going to find a way through. Got to keep trying, though. You've got to give him that. He's really putting the pressure on here. Zöckling watching, waiting and hoping in fourth place that they try a bit too hard. Bamber again menacing, swarming all over the back of Nicky Tim like a wasp, an angry wasp, but I don't think he's going to have time to get through here. Philippe Enger, though, Dave, coming through to take the flag.
Yeah, it's a bit of a moment there from Philippe Enger on the second from last corner, as he just lost the back end, but able to put it all together and take the checkered flag to win race 1 in the 2014 season of the Porsche Carrera Cup. Nicky Tim takes second place by just 0.3 over Earl Bamber in the end. Zöckling in fourth place. Conor De Filippi takes 5. Christian Engelhardt P6. Alex Riberas P7. Sean Johnston, the American. Good result for him in P8. 9th was Muller. 10th Schmidt. Schmidt in 11. Then it was Lucas taking P12. Ammermuller P13. Tuner 14. And there you can see Philippe Enger, the winner of race 1. His best lap coming with a 1:43. As you saw there, and there Rolf Innishin, the best of the B category. As the cars all into the paddock early, they don't complete a full slowing down lap. They're the man who has, well, given us a lot to talk about this afternoon. Jim Pla in car number 33. Just saw him going into the paddock as this man took the checkered flag. Philippe Enger and the Project One team delighted. One of the most passionate teams in the paddock. Paul Schlottmann with the headphones on there is the team manager that runs the team. Very, very tough year for them last year. And, well, they've taken victory in race 1. There's Hans-Bernd Kamps, the team owner. And Svenja, the female race engineer, just alongside there, so you can see all the celebrations from the Project One team after such a horrible end to the season for that team last year. They needed that victory probably today.
Yeah, with the loss of Sean Edwards and Sean's mother here this weekend, launching the Sean Edwards Foundation. And so very fitting that the team should go so well. Looking at improving safety, not just in racing, Sean Edwards Foundation, but also in track days and non-competitive forms of motorsport. So she's very passionate and very positive when we spoke to her last night, wasn't she?
We had a real conversation. An extraordinary woman, Daphne, and wish her well. And with the Sean Edwards Foundation, and being supported by Porsche, by all sorts of people, as you would expect, not least the Project One team as well. The results scrolling through on the screen in front of you. Podium to come, of course. And a big grid of cars. And perhaps for me, the surprise after the early contact was Ola Nielsen, who I'm expecting really good things from this season. He took the Swedish Porsche Carrera Championship last year. Of course, came out of the Sirocco R Cup, where he was champion in that. So I think Ola Nielsen stepping up into the German series will be very good indeed. He's certainly looking forward to it, and the celebrations continue down there. And Paul Schlottmann.
Great start by Philip, wasn't it? I mean, he just nailed the start perfectly, and then got his head down on the first lap as well. He was, 1.6 seconds clear of anybody at the end of the first lap, and that just gave him the comfortable margin that he needed. Built it up to at 1.2.5 seconds, and then just kept creeping away from them. And he looks very emotional, doesn't he, inside inside the helmet there?
Yes.
I think we've got a bit of a star in Earl Bamber as well, haven't we?
I think you're right.
You know, we know Nicky Tim wasn't perhaps at absolute 100% full fitness, but to be swarming all over the back of him like he wasn't that last lap. It was an excellent performance. There is Nicky Tim.
Yes.
Looks like he's been working hard, doesn't he, Dave? Just amazing, the determination of these drivers, though. I mean, you imagine if you just driving on the roads and you had a road crash, you'd want to take it easy for a week. These guys are straight back. Right, how can I get back in the racing car? How can I get fit again? And
I know.
Physio 2 times a day, whatever it takes. They cannot miss their racing. And the adrenaline will get him through to a certain extent. He may be a bit stiff tonight, though.
Just think I saw at the back of that shot there, René Rast, former multi-Porsche champion. Just think that was him in the background of the shot. Be good to see him here.
Well, there's lots of entertainment in the race, but Philip just had his own sort of private party.
Yes, he did.
Very calm race from pole position. He'll take that. He won't mind one bit.
No.
I think Nicky Tim equally will be very pleased with second, particularly as Earl Bamber was so much all over the back end of him. So much pressure from Earl Bamber on that last lap and a half. So those will be the three to make their way up onto the podium here at Hockenheim for the first race of the season for the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland.
And as good a race as we expected, to be honest. So in the A Championship, then Philip Enger will lead from Nicky Tim and Earl Bamber, with Zöchling, Conor De Filippi, Engelhardt, Riberas, Sean Johnston, Sven Muller and Clemens Schmidt. That is the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship in the A category. Very busy A category in the Carrera Cup this year, and a much less busy B Championship. We're talking to Bill Barozzetti last night, who won the B Championship in 2012, went up into the A category for last year, and in truth had a torrid time of it. There is a significant difference, and he choosing to be back in the B category, and in fact is P3 in the B category championship, which Rolf Inischen won last year and leads now with Daniel Alleman P2, Bill Barozzetti, as we mentioned, P3, and Wolf Nathan 4 with Ralph Bond, Ronald Baldalar and Mike Keller bringing up the rest of the places in that somewhat depleted B Championship from previous years. Standing by, podium will be on its way shortly as we get a great heli shot and see Philip Eng take on some water, deservedly so, and podium about underway. Nicky Team and Earl Bamber. The 1, 2, 3 up there on the podium. Remarkable note from the podium is the fact that Nicky Tim and Earl Bamber, well, it takes the top step of the podium for Philip Enger to be the same height.
Absolutely right. So he takes the winner's trophy. Impressive single-seater career before he moved up into sports cars and Porsches. Very experienced. Nicky Tim looking pretty pleased, actually, with that second-place finish, as I thought he might. And there's Earl Bamber on the right, who pulled off some sublime moves in that race.
Yes.
Some very good moves. A big battle to get himself up into fourth place. Had he got up to fourth a couple of laps earlier, I wonder if he'd have made it through.
Do you think that would have been enough? Maybe.
Yeah, another lap, 2 laps maybe behind Nicky Tim. He was definitely the quicker of the two at the end, wasn't he? But once he got shot through and then got up to third, he was away, the New Zealander. And the team rate him very highly. Champagne time then, Dave. But they've got to do it all again tomorrow.
Yes, they have. And, well, there we are. Great race from the Porsche Carrera Cup, as always. And the 1, 2, 3 there celebrating Philip Enger, Nicky Tim and Earl Bamber as the Project One team look on at delight at their driver taking victory here in Hockenheim. And we've got the B podium to come. We take some slow-mos of the 1, 2, 3. Earl Bamber then. Real prospect to look out for, I think, in the championship this year. And maybe, Chris, you're right. Had he got another couple of laps left, perhaps Tim would not have been able to hold him at bay. But in this race he did, and took second place. Nicky Team then, the Team Family Trophy Cabinet. All you can say is it must be big, because the silverware that's gone back in their direction over the careers. And then the race winner then, Philip Enger, in car number 12. Launched the car over the curbs there, but actually never put a wheel wrong throughout the race and had it all to himself. Bit of a lonely old time out there, but he'll take that and be jolly pleased with it. Thank you very much. So there, Philip Enger, our race winner in the race overall, and of course in the A Championship as well. So here comes the B podium. And Rolf Innerschen, a familiar place. He was up there so many times last year. So Rolf Innishin, Daniel Aleman, Bill Barazetti all up there on the podium. This for the B category in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. And Rolf Innishin takes another big trophy back to the hugely successful Conrad Motorsport team.
And up in the top half of the field overall for Ralph, up in the 18th place in the end. Daniel Aleman was a few places behind him, 21st position overall. And then Bill Barazetti completing the top 3 in the B class.
So Bill not making a trip up to the podium last year when he elected to race in the A category, has decided to go back into the B category, as is his right to do so. They pose for the photographs. And another Porsche Carrera Cup race to come tomorrow across this DTM weekend here at Hockenheim, the traditional season opener, as the bottles get opened right now. And Rolf Innishin, as he has been on so many occasions in the past, not only first in the race, but first in the race to get the bottle open as well. From myself and also from Chris Hartley, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you join us for what should be another good race tomorrow, Chris.
Absolutely, yeah. Looking forward to another good day here at Hockenheim with the Porsches.